Hi friends! Today we're taking a look at a message from your subconscious. So something that's going on for you subconsciously that wants to be talked about or acknowledged. So as usual, we have 3 piles, pile 1, 2, and 3. You can choose from the crystals if you'd like. And you can go to the pile of your choosing in the description box below. I'll put the timestamps. So yeah, let's get into it. Hi pile 1, if you chose this pile, welcome to your reading, and let's have a look at a message from your subconscious at this time. So this first card is about like a general theme, and then I'll pull more cards to get specifics. All right, so we have shelter. So you're in need of some shelter. Like, I feel like a part of your subconscious is feeling like really vulnerable. So there's something here about like you feeling like you're being attacked, or there's just too much going on. And it's like, feels like a very young part of you. So like an inner child part where, yeah, it just really needs like this kind of protection and shelter. And it's something that like it hasn't really gotten. And you could be aware of this part or you could be unaware of it, but it's really like in need of some safety. So part of your subconscious feels unsafe. Why? Maybe you could look into what's going on with this part. Okay, so why is this part feeling unsafe here? Cards flying about. I feel like there was some sort of, now or in the past, like a sort of separation from someone, like a relationship to a person, that left this part feeling very like vulnerable. So you might have experienced like a loss or a separation with someone where it's not fully processed, and there's a part of you that is feeling like that was really attached to this person that is still feeling like really hurt, but especially like unsafe and vulnerable because this person was like safe to them. And there's something about like feeling like you have to fend for yourself. So this could be like, actually for a lot of you, like I'm kind of getting childhood, even if it has happened recently again. I feel like this kind of stems from childhood where maybe a parent figure, you lost them, or they were not there for you. And this part of you is like the part of you that is kind of aware that, okay, like I have to fend for myself. And it's kind of a child part, so it doesn't necessarily feel like it can do that, which is where like the vulnerability is coming from. Yeah, it feels kind of like it's a bit of like a dizzy feeling. Like I feel like this part of you, so there is probably like a part of your subconscious where you haven't fully processed this, and so there's this part of you that is kind of stuck in this kind of shock or overwhelm. I want to say overwhelm, like it just feels like whew, a really like intense feeling of overwhelm and like, how am I gonna do this? I can't handle these feelings, and now I'm supposed to like fend for myself. Yeah, I just keep like being drawn to these two also, in the sense that they're like, this came reversed, and this is like it's hanging upside down there. So I'm just feeling like my world is turned upside down. That's kind of how I'm feeling with those cards. And so there's a part of you that really hasn't like processed this and like landed fully, and it's still kind of in like disarray and like a little bit of shock. Okay. What is the message? Like, what is the guidance around this? How can you care for this part? Sorry. How can pile one care for this part that needs safety and shelter? Okay, so like really like something that's coming through is that first of all, just like the acknowledgement that this wasn't fair. You weren't supposed to fend for yourself. Like, you were a kid and you need other people, and like when you're a kid especially, you need other people, and so nothing is like wrong. This is like a completely natural reaction to what happened and what you went through, and like you're not meant to fend for yourself. Like, I think that's the first thing that you want to like look at, is that belief of like, okay, I have to do it myself now. Because if you have that belief, I feel like that belief is kind of what is pushing this part away. Because nobody can do that. Like, we're humans, we're a social species, we need each other. So if you have this belief that like, I have to fend for myself, this part of your subconscious here that like is more of a child part, it can't really be processed, because you would have to acknowledge that this is too hard to do alone, and like I need people, and like this inner child of mine needs people, and that's completely natural. So that's the first thing that's coming through, just as validation that you have done nothing wrong. You're like, anyone in your shoes, in your position, would feel the exact same way, and it wasn't fair. Like, it was unfair what happened to you, and you're not expected to like power through, and nobody could really do that. So that's like the first thing that's coming through, to help you soften this belief of like, oh God, I just have to like do it alone now, and in confusion, and I'm overwhelmed, and like you had to, because there was nothing else to do at the time, but you shouldn't have to, and you don't have to going forward. And the second thing is like, really to mother yourself as much as you can. So I feel like this part of you is really needing some like mothering. So very like gentle, encouraging words and energy. So if you can start by like doing that for yourself, giving that to yourself, and then also seeking it out in other places, because I mean, that's the whole point of this Reading is to also, you know, make it okay for you to seek out help and seek out safety and shelter from other people and places. But this part really needs a lot of like reassurance and encouragement and like nurturing. So how to do that? I find that the easiest way is to start by like softening how you speak to yourself, and kind of, if it's hard to look at yourself like from the outside, or look at yourself as like a dear friend that you have, or even a child, like if you can imagine your inner child and really, you know, feel for them and see like what would they need now and how can I care for them. But this is not because you're supposed to like do that for yourself and take care of yourself exclusively. It's just that we want to do that as well at the same time as reaching out for other people and getting it from other people. So yeah, the message is to maybe at least question this belief that you have, that you have to do it by yourself, or like you're not safe with other people and things like that. Right, so look for, I want to say look for the light. I mean, I don't know if that means anything to you, but like look for the light, to me, I'm hearing is like seek out those little things that like bring you comfort, like with the resourcefulness card as well. Start with the little things that make you feel safe, and keep this part of you in mind. Like talk to it and like spend time with it, and then look for all these like little things in the outside world that makes you feel safe, and really make it okay for yourself to go for safety and comfort and love. Like anything that makes you feel that like cozy feeling. So like, I don't know, like a cup of tea, or a comfort movie, or blankets, or nature, whatever it is for you, a bath maybe, a book that you love. If you do that, and at the same time pay attention to this part and like really resource the experience. So if you're reading a book that you like, for example, try to really like soak it up and be aware of like, okay, I'm going for safety now, I'm meeting this need of like cozy feelings for me and this part of me that feels really unsafe, and it's like a together effort and we're doing it together. That might make a difference, because sometimes we can like read a book to like escape or whatever, and we're going for the same thing. We want comfort and safety, but with that attitude, if we're not aware of this part that wants it, it's still not maybe reaching all the way to that part. So if we're aware and we're doing it consciously and we resource it as we're doing it, that part is going to start to feel nourished and it's going to start to feel more safe. So that's coming through as advice for like how to reach this part and how to like caretake it, to really resource those moments of safety that you can find in your life, and to make it okay to go for that. So yeah, I think that is your message for today, pile one. Please be gentle with yourself, take care, and allow yourself to go for this cozy safety feeling, and like really encourage yourself as well. Like that's also something, like maybe I said it, but it was important to like really speak to yourself in very like loving, encouraging ways, because this part is also like needing a lot of like reassurance. Also, like, you had to fight really, really hard, and I feel like this also needs to be acknowledged, that like you did have to fight really hard, and it was really hard, and you did such a great job, and now like it's okay to slow down and like, you know, let yourself be cared for. Yeah, so that's it, pile 1 for you. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you another time. Bye. Hi, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's have a look at a message from your subconscious. So this card is kind of a general theme for the reading, and then I'll pull some more cards. So you have making space. Interesting. Okay. So with that, I'm getting like the theme of this message is like a part of your subconscious is really wanting freedom. So that's kind of the overarching theme, and we're gonna have a look at like how to, like, what's going on and how to kind of make space, how to feel more free. But so I'm getting like, obviously something in your subconscious is feeling restricted or bogged down, and I just want to, like, it's like I'm carrying a backpack and I want to take it off. That's the feeling that's coming through. That's kind of what's going on and wants to be talked about. So let's see what this is about. What is kind of restricting pile 2? What is the restriction about, or this like backpack thing? What is going on there? Okay. All right. The 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords, the Fool, and the Queen of Cups in reverse. So obviously, like, something has happened, or it's been going on for a while. I feel like this has been going on for a while. With the 10 of Swords, it's like something is really weighing on you that, like, your subconscious really wants to let go of, and it's an emotional thing, and it has something to do with like very heavy emotions. Nine of Swords. Yeah, like really heavy emotions that you've been experiencing for a really long time, and your subconscious is like wanting to be free of them. um, right, so I'm getting that like you've been kind of very absorbed in this for a long time, and maybe you've isolated, you've went inwards, you've done a lot of work, or you've like on yourself, or you felt like very depressed and just like low, and you are on the verge of like stepping out of this. So I guess like your subconscious is like wanting space, but it's already in the process of like shifting, because I feel like you've done this for so long now that like it's run its course. Like it's time for something new. But I feel like it's been also something where you haven't really been free in yourself, and maybe you've related to yourself in a way that wasn't the most loving, and you haven't seen yourself in like a loving way in a long time. So maybe you feel like you lost your spark, or you just felt like really bad about yourself, and like you are on the verge of a transformation here. So I thought kind of like the message was going to be, about like how to create freedom and stuff like that, but it's more coming through as in like it's already happening. It's more to like acknowledge what has been going on and how you've been feeling, and kind of why this process is taking place, because it might sound like counterintuitive, but I think that you've gone through this so that you can feel more free in yourself, because you've faced a lot of stuff like in your subconscious with the 9 of Swords and the 10 of Swords there, that it's like really difficult stuff. Like maybe you've done a lot of shadow work, or you've just been feeling it. Even if you've just been like depressed in bed or whatever, you have been processing things on a subconscious level, and it has been so that you can feel more free in yourself. Like there's been something going on with your emotions as well, where like you've taken on too much. Like it's been all right, yeah, so you've been in a phase where like it's been all about like those heavy feelings, and maybe you felt like kind of consumed by it and feel like, okay, this is it now, or whatever, like this is how I feel. So there was like a period of time where that was all you could focus on. Maybe you're still in that phase, but it is coming to an end. Like with the Fool here, you're on the verge of coming out of it, stepping out of it. And the Hermit in reverse, like you've done such a great job with like processing these emotions, and I'm just feeling like a lot of warmth and feelings of like proudness and just like love coming through to just acknowledge that. And it has been for a good reason. Like you're going to see like in the coming phase where you kind of step out a little bit again and you start to feel better about yourself, that you will feel like you let go of something, like you will feel more free, because you did make space by feeling all these heavy emotions. You did make space for something new, and also for like more of you to take up space in the world, because you're not being bogged down by these emotions in the same way anymore. So like I'm not getting specifically what this was. It could be different for all of you, but it's basically like those heaviest things, like our deepest wounds, or heaviest emotions that we really don't want to face or process. Like you've been with those, whether you kind of chose that or not. You have been doing it, and the reward is going to be more freedom. Like in yourself, in the world, and you're gonna feel so much lighter. Do you have a time frame for when this is gonna happen, or where are we like in this process? Okay, we have retreat, so it might be a little bit longer. I'm getting you at the end of it, but you might not like step out of it immediately. Protection and explore. So yeah, I'm getting that it's coming to an end, like, but it's going to be like a slow, it's like going to be like a slow process, or like a seamless process where you may not like know that it's happening until you're out of it and you're like, wow, I actually do feel a lot better. But it's going to be when you feel a bit like safer in yourself again. I mean, obviously you're gonna feel safer in the world. I mean, that was probably more accurate to what I wanted to say. Like, when you come out of this, you're going to feel more safe in the world, and I think you're gonna also know like how to protect yourself, like how to care for yourself, and you're gonna come into this energy again, like with exploring and having fun, and you know, also finding out who you are without this heavy stuff. Because sometimes when we do shadow work, or like when we're going through this process, like we start to think that like this is who we are because we're like consumed by it, because it's all we're doing. But you're gonna like find out again who you are outside of that, because it's not all you are. I mean, you're so many things, and you're not that. It's just something like that you were processing. So you're gonna like get to know yourself again, and like explore the world, and explore like, who am I in the world? And oh, I'm really excited for you with this, because I feel like you have been going through like a lot, and you really deserve this. But you're still like maybe on the tail end of things, so kind of hang in there, but like know that this is coming, and like this is why you're doing it. You're gonna feel so much more free. So I guess if I sum it up, that is the message from your subconscious, that it's kind of like, thank you for doing this work, and the reason for it is to be more free, and you're going to feel more free and light. And it is already happening, but it might be like a little bit longer, and like a graduation of things. Is there one more message, please, for pile number 2 about this? We have guardedness and dawn. So yeah, it's just repeating basically. You're kind of coming out of the guardedness and into the dawn, and that is what's happening for you, like subconsciously. That is what you're going through. So I guess that pretty much is it. Thank you for watching pile 2. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you some other time, maybe. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So let's have a look at a message from your subconscious. This is going to be like the overarching theme for the message or the reading, and then I will pull some more cards to see what's going on. Okay, so we have acknowledgement for pile number number 3. Let me pull some more cards. What is this about? Please, for pile number 3, with the acknowledgement. So we have the Lovers, Unease, which is like an extra card to this deck that I use those, and Strength and Ace of Pentacles. Honestly, I feel like what wants to be acknowledged is like you, like your subconscious is basically like coming through and wanting you to really acknowledge yourself, like to see yourself, to speak of yourself in a kind way, to really see like how strong you are and everything you've accomplished, and to look at yourself in a more like loving, encouraging way. That is like the first thing. I'm getting that you're kind of like the type of person to just like do things and never maybe like take a moment to pause and like congratulate yourself or be like, yeah, I did it. It's just like, okay, on to the next thing. And with this like Unease card, the way I interpret this card is like, it's a kind of creepy card, but it's like this little mouse here looking at this other mouse. So for me, that's like kind of looking at yourself, and in a way that is like negative, like it doesn't feel good. And I feel like you're the type of person maybe to work on yourself a lot, or like work on things in general, but like especially yourself, where if you do something that you're proud of, or you get something done, it's like, okay, good, and then you're on to the next one, and then you're looking at like the next problem to fix, like whatever. It could be like health stuff, or you want to accomplish this thing, or you want to look like this, or you want to heal this thing, and like you do it and you make so much progress, but you don't like stop and take a moment to like really look at what you've done and like see how far you've come, and to like celebrate like, you know, how good you are and how far you've come, really. So there's like the acknowledgement that wants to be had of like, wow, you've come such a long way and you've done so much work. Like if you stop and think about, okay, where was I like a year ago? What did I want then? What did I work on then? Or like 5 years, 10 years ago, you will see that you are not the same person. You will see that you've grown so much and like accomplished so much. And not according to like, don't base it off of what other people think is like an accomplishment or whatever. But if you look at what you have done for you, you will see that you've come you've come light years in, you know, whatever, the last year, the last month even, or like the last 5-10 years. So that's like the main thing that's coming through. Maybe we could look like, why is it that you don't stop and acknowledge yourself more? Like, what is going on for pile 3 there? What is the reason they have a hard time doing that? Okay, so we have the Five of Wands and Temperance. For me, I feel like probably when you were a kid, or, you know, as you were growing up, you were really taught to like be modest and to like don't think too much of yourself, like, you know, you're not that special, and you know, you just do the work and like don't take credit. And I feel like at some point you did get negative consequences for like being proud of yourself, or being like, hey, look what I did. Maybe someone was like, okay, so, or whatever, like it's not that special, or like I don't have time, or maybe they just didn't see you. But I do actually feel like there was some like attack for actually like being proud of yourself. So that's probably the reason why you feel like you can't really do it now. Like, this is like one of those like generational things where a lot of the time, like maybe our parents or grandparents or whoever we were around, like they weren't allowed to do it, so they will just like unconsciously act out the same way and, you know, police us the way that they police themselves, because they were policed by, you know, their caregivers or whatever, or peers, in a way to be like, oh, you're not special, and like, oh, who are you to like brag about this, and like it's not that big of a deal. And even if they don't say it like outright, that could be like the energy that they carry. So a part of you has kind of like picked up this energy from them, and you learned that like, okay, you know, be modest and keep everything like balanced, and don't take credit for stuff, and like just keep working and keep your head down, because if you don't, like, people will kind of attack you. So I do feel like you're working on breaking this pattern in your family or in your ancestry line, where like you don't have to be so modest all the time, and especially not like within yourself. Like you can also choose like how much you say to other people, which I still think that you should like brag and be proud of what you've done, but especially like within yourself, be proud of yourself. Like look at your accomplishments, like take a minute to hype yourself up, celebrate when you've done something great. And like I understand that this is like might feel what's the word, like you're not used to it, and it might feel like uncomfortable when you start to do it. You might have some like fears come up, or like anxieties, but if you do remind yourself like, okay, this is coming up, this is not personal, it's because we have this pattern in our family or in my social group or whatever, where we feel like we're not allowed to be proud of ourselves, or like we're not allowed to take up space or hype ourselves up. But it doesn't mean that like I'm not worthy of that. It doesn't mean that it's true in any way. It's just that, okay, this is how I've been conditioned, so that is why like I'm having this anxiety. And that might help you like move through it and still hype yourself up and still be proud of yourself. But yeah, it's just coming through as like, when you do that, if you start practicing that, that, you know, you didn't do it for a reason, and this is the reason, like the social construct thing that has been a part of your conditioning, and then the conditioning of the people around you. So don't be like alarmed if you start to feel like anxious, or like, oh, I can't do that, or like, oh, shame or anxiety, whatever. But you really deserve like to feel good about yourself and to feel good about your accomplishments. And you're really doing everyone a favor by kind of like looking at this pattern and slowly like softening it and breaking it. Because like the people around you who kind of like don't let you shine or don't encourage you, they're not doing it to be assholes. Like they're doing it unconsciously because that's what has been done to them. So it's not personal in any way. Like, of course, you might also feel a little bit angry thinking about this, which is fair, and you should be, but it isn't personal to you. It's just like an unconscious, ingrained like social strategy. And the tricky part is like when you start to hype yourself up, like if you do that openly or you're proud of yourself or whatever, it will be like jarring to those people if those people are around, because that's exactly like what they weren't allowed to do. So then they're gonna feel those feelings of like shame or unfairness or anger, but please don't take it personally if it comes out on you, because it's just like they're part of the same pattern. They weren't allowed to do it, so they're gonna feel that way. But yeah, for some of you, if you're still around those people, but if you're not around those people, like you're still doing them a service by working on this pattern. Yeah. Is there any final message for pile number 3, please? So this is like something that your subconscious is like really longing for, like to stop and smell the roses, like see how far you've come and how amazing you are and how strong you are, and to really give yourself that acknowledgement and love. We have listen, safety, and friendship. Okay, so just the last message to come through is basically just to like start doing this within yourself and to feel out like who you want to share this with, because not everyone is going to be like receptive to this, maybe in the beginning, also if you've had this as a pattern. So I mean, this is just like a final little piece of advice to like do it for yourself, within yourself, and then when you start to share it with people, because I feel like that's a big part of the work, is to also like be proud, you know, around people, and to like talk about yourself in a loving way around people, because that is also like what the pattern is about, like what you're not allowed to do. You're not supposed to like keep that all inside, but they're just saying like be selective with, at least in the beginning, if you feel vulnerable expressing this like for the first time or things like that, just be selective about who you're sharing it with, and try to choose someone that is really close to you, that you feel like really safe with, and someone who like listens to you and is open and receptive in that way. And then once you feel like more secure and you're like, oh yes, I can do this, then it's just something that's going to become natural, and you can do it with anybody or everybody. It's just like in the beginning, when you, if or when you feel vulnerable with taking up space in this regard, yeah, just choose someone that will, you feel is like receptive to it, so you don't get like it might be harsh to like get that same reaction of like, oh, who are you, like when you're just like practicing and wanting to work on this pattern. So yeah, just be selective in the beginning with who you share it with, and then it'll become natural and you can share it with whatever, or you won't care if you get this reaction. But if people are, you know, judging you, whatever, you will care less, but it can be vulnerable in the beginning. So just choose someone who will take the time and like listen and really celebrate you in a like very soft and kind and yeah, open way. So that is what I have for you, pile 3. That's a message from your subconscious. And yeah, take care. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with practicing this self-hyping. Like, you're doing a great job, and you deserve to like really celebrate yourself. So yes, that's what I have for you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you another time. Bye.